Hey, my name is Jim, and I collect graded magazines, specifically newsstand copies of Sports Illustrated. Not subscription issues, but newsstand copies of Sports Illustrated. And when I get them graded, I do an unboxing video. Now, you guys know how this works. If you watch a lot of my other videos, I know what these issues are, but I don't know what the grades are, so it's a surprise to me and you as we kind of unveil them here. While I'm unboxing this, quick story. So I was talking to a friend of mine not too long ago who's also in this hobby, and he was talking about something, and he was talking about autographs and pressing, and he's like, I know you hate autographs. And I thought, oh, that's weird. I don't hate autographs, but then I started thinking about it more. And I was like, yeah, I guess he could get that impression from, you know, the way I talk about how tricky autographs are to handle at CGC. So just to clarify, I freaking love autographs. I think autographs on Sports Illustrated and other magazines are awesome. And the reason why I talk about them so much is because if you want your autographed issues graded, it's a really tricky process to go through with CGC. And I've done a bunch of podcasts and videos about how to handle autographs at CGC. So go back and watch those. But you can get different labels. You can get stuck with the green label. If you want the blue label, you got to get your autograph downgraded. So I love autographs. I don't want you to think that. But if you do want to get your autographed issues graded, watch some of my videos where I talk about it, because it's very, very tricky, and you just got to know this going in just so that you're kind of aware of this. Okay, 10 slabs, all vintage. Love the vintage stuff. Got baseball, got basketball, got football. Vast majority of these are vintage first covers and some really interesting stuff. Yeah, some really interesting ones that you don't see a whole lot of. They may not be like the biggest stars first cover, but they're Hall of Famers and they're pretty cool. So let's rock and roll. Looking for lots of 9/8. They're vintage, probably not going to get any 9/8, but who knows? Fingers crossed. But looking for lots of high scores, and these first covers are going to be fun. Okay, not bad. I'll take that. This is an interesting cover. This is a dual first cover. So this is John Wooden's first cover. It's also Billie Jean King's first cover. And of course, I'm looking to see if they put that on the label, and they did not. On my last unboxing video, I think I was like complimentary of CGC and how they're doing better with labeling, and now it comes back to bite me. But this is still a very cool first cover. So this is December 25th, 1972. Maybe the greatest basketball coach of all time, John Wooden. 10-time NCAA champ. He was a player in college, too. He was a 3-time All-American, 5-time NCAA Coach of the Year. He was amazing. Billie Jean King, I mean, I'm not a big tennis guy, but, you know, still her first cover. I thought that made this cover really interesting, and the fact that it's the first cover for both John Wooden and Billie Jean King. Pop reports on this, there is a 9.0. Ugh. Yeah, which means I was pushing for that. I always like to have the highest graded out there. There are now 2 8.5s, and there are a couple 7.5s, and there are some others out there. Very cool. John Wooden and Billie Jean King, first cover from December 25th, 1972, and we are off and running. That's pretty good. 8.5 for an issue that's from 1972. It's 50 years old. I love these ads on the back, these vintage ads. A lot of shoe ads. I don't know why that is, but I just think they're kind of cool. It's okay. It's okay. I'm going to take it. I knew this issue had a lot of problems. And there's not a lot of high grades of this one. I was hoping for a 6.5 or 7. If you don't recognize this, Pistol Pete Maravich and his first cover. This is from March 4th, 1968. You know, Pistol Pete's one of my all-time favorites. You know, he passed away way too early at age 43. If you aren't familiar with his game, do yourself a favor. Go watch some YouTube videos of Pete Maravich. The guy was freaking incredible. He got stuck on a bunch of really bad pro teams, and so he, while he was an incredible player and was great, just, you know, never had a lot of success at the pro level because he was stuck on a bunch of really crappy teams. But this is This is one of my personal favorites. I'm not going to sit here and say this is a top 10 for the industry as far as collectible goes. For me personally, yeah, I'd say this is a top 10 first cover, just because I'm such a huge Pistol Pete fan. I did get them. That happened. First Pistol Pete Maravich cover. That's on there. So, again, this is from March 4th, 1968. Pop reports on this, 8.5. That's the highest graded. So, really difficult issue to get in a high grade. There's one 8.5, there's one 8.0, there's one 7.5. Not a lot of these out there graded either. This is from when he played basketball for LSU when he was in college. Like I said, do yourself a favor. Even if you know Pistol Pete and you know how awesome he was as a player, spend some time this afternoon or this evening and go back and watch some of his clips on YouTube, because he's just such an incredible player. And like I said, unfortunately passed away at 43 a number of years ago. But good one. I'll take that. 6.0 Pistol Pete. Never owned. I don't know that I think the vast majority of these slabs that we're going to be looking at today I've never owned before. Okay, pretty good. Oh, geez, look at that. I can see that right there. You see that? Crease that breaks color on the back. Not going to bode well for a high grade, but we'll look anyway. Okay, wow, rest of this magazine must have been in pretty good shape, because I guarantee you that crease of that size that broke color on the back, that's at least a full point deduction. So the rest of this issue, pretty nice here. Obviously, this is Muhammad Ali. This is from February 4th, 1974. Just a great looking cover. This is from the Ali Frazier fight in 1974 when Ali beat Frazier. And so, and there you go, Ali winning it again. A big Muhammad Ali fan. All of his stuff is crazy, crazy collectible. I'm not as familiar. He's got so many issues. He's been on over 20 issues of Sports Illustrated. And so I really don't have, I can't recall the pop reports on this one, so I'll have to dig into that. But I'm very happy. 1974, Muhammad Ali, 8.0. The rest of this issue is in just spectacular condition. And it's that crease that breaks color on the back that got me to where it is, because if not for that, this easily would have been a 9+ cover. Nice, take that one. All right, next up. Cool, very cool. Again, this is Pistol Pete's second Sports Illustrated cover. This came out on December 1st, 1969. He had 2 covers in college, and he had 1 pro cover. He had a pro cover in the 70s when he was with the Atlanta Hawks. So not a lot of Pistol Pete covers out there. Again, I knew this issue had some condition issues. Really, really difficult to find in a high grade. Almost impossible to find. There is one 9.0, there is one 8.5, and then there's nothing until you get to 6.5. There's now 3 6.5s out there. So very rare issue. It's just a very cool, again, big Pistol Pete fan. It's a 6.5. I'll take that because I'm a huge Pete Maravich fan, and that's his second cover. Pretty good. Man, these vintage issues are fun. So hard to get high grades on these vintage issues. So hard. All right. Next up. That one hurts. Yeah, that hurts. 5-0. They did not put first Ray Nichky cover on the front. Ray Nichky, his first cover. This is from July 15th, 1968. Pop reports, there's an 8.5, there's a 7.0, there's a 6.0. Again, I knew this issue had a lot of problems. 5.5 seems a little harsh, but the spine's in really rough shape. Rest of it isn't that bad. I mean, I know this was pressed, so the finger bends came out. I had some pressing on the back that couldn't get fixed, but some really deep creases where, I improved it, but you can still see them. Ray Nichky, guy was, massive Hall of Famer, played 14 seasons for the Packers, 5-time NFL champ, 2-time Super Bowl champ, 7 total championships for Ray Nichky. I mean, that's crazy. Those are Tom Brady level numbers. Really good one. Played for the University of Illinois. He and Butkus, two massive middle linebackers that came out of the University of Illinois in the 60s. And fighting Illini have not produced a whole lot since then as far as, NFL Hall of Famers. But Ray Nichky, first Sports Illustrated cover from 1968, 5.0. Kind of a bummer. I need an issue that's going to exceed my expectations. These have all been kind of just a little bit below where I thought they would come in on. And even for me, who's been doing this a long time and gotten, 1,000 slabs graded, I think we all tend to be a little too optimistic as to what our grades are going to be. But next up. Okay, 7.5. That's pretty good here. So this is Sports Illustrated. This is the All-Star Game cover from 1956, so really old. I mean, almost 70 years old here. A lot of stars on the front of it here. What is interesting about this is actually Ernie Banks' first cover. Not a great first cover. Oh, and all of that. Look at that. First Ernie Banks cover. I got him to do that. A lot of times they won't do that if there's multiple people, or it's harder to get him to do it if there's multiple people on the cover. But this is Ernie Banks' first cover. Like I said, not a great first cover because he's just got this tiny little picture there and he's sharing it with a ton of other people. So Pop reports, again, this is July 9th, 1956. Pop reports there's a 9.2, there's a 9.0. There are 3 8.5s. You can see I got this at 7.5. Ernie Banks, Mickey Mantle, Stan Musial, Duke Snider, Yogi Berra. Just a great list of outstanding people on this cover. And so 7.5 isn't terrible, and I'll take it. That's probably a little bit better than what I thought I was going to do. I probably would have thought that was more like a 7. Maybe I should complain about it a little bit more, because as soon as I did that, I popped a higher grade. I'm a terrible grade estimator. I thought these were all going to be much better than what they're doing. Yeah, it didn't work. Not on this one. But cool cover. 6.5 too, and let's see if they did it. They did. Persistence pays off. Let's spend a minute talking about this, because I've really been harping on it a lot. Labeling. Okay, let's equate it to graded game tickets. So the graded game ticket hobby is, exploded. I'm not in that, but I still think they're really cool. I just don't have the mind power to concentrate on multiple hobbies at once. So this is all I'm doing right now. But what's so cool about graded game tickets is that PSA, puts that little story on the slab. It's, this is Mickey Mantle's 500th home run game, or this is, Magic Johnson's, first professional debut, or this was the, the no-hitter that was thrown by the Pirates, or whatever the hell it is. That makes the collectible so much cooler, and it legitimizes and it tells a story. It's really important, and CGC will do that, but you really got to stay on them, and there's proper procedures that you've got to follow. You've got to make a little note on your packing slip when you send it in, and then you've got to put a sticky on the bag and board of the issue that you're sending in with what you want them to say on the slab. They're getting better at it, but they don't always follow through with that information. So this is Casey Stengel's first Sports Illustrated cover. This is from March 2nd, 1959. And it says on there, first Casey Stengel cover. That's really important in my opinion. Not only is it legitimized, so everybody knows, okay, yep, this is the first cover. This is the first cover of that person. But that slab helps tell the story of the collectible. This just isn't a run-of-the-mill issue from 1959 with Casey Stengel on it. This isn't just a baseball issue. This is Casey Stengel's first cover. And I think that's really important. Now, the good news is like, for example, I did this. I sent it. It didn't say in the CGC census, or if you sent this in and get it graded, it wouldn't have said first cover. But since I did this, now if you send one in, you don't have to do anything. It'll automatically say that on the slab. It'll say first Casey Stengel cover. So something to keep in mind when you're getting your issues graded and when you're sending them in. Okay, back to this. By the way, this 6.5, pop 1 of 1, none higher. Casey Stengel was, 9-time World Series champ. I love this trivia fact about Casey Stengel. His number 37, retired by the Yankees and the Mets. I think he's the only player that has had his number retired by both the Yankees and the Mets. Cool first cover. I like it. He was more of better known as a coach rather than a player. Coaches aren't as collectible, but it's the frickin' New York Yankees, and it's Casey Stengel, so I thought it was really cool. Again, March 2nd, 1959, 6.5, pop 1 of 1, none higher. There's only one of these in the whole world, and I got it right here in my stinking hands. That's awesome. That's awesome. Love that one. That one's a lot of fun. Okay, what else we got here? Next up. Yeah. Man, these vintage issues are tough. Tough to pop a high grade. This is kind of a novelty issue. This is, and they didn't do it on this one. This is Bob Hope. Bob Hope's first cover, his only cover on Sports Illustrated. He's wearing a Cleveland Indians uniform, and the headline is, Bob Hope of the Cleveland Indians. I'm not really sure what the story is, why Bob was on the cover or why he's wearing an Indians jersey, but I thought this was pretty cool. I'm thinking of creating like a set list of famous people that aren't athletes that were on the cover of Sports Illustrated. There's some really interesting ones. Chris Rock was on a cover. Arnold Schwarzenegger. Several presidents have been on the cover. Kennedy with Jackie, John and Jackie Kennedy. Impossible to find that one. Been looking for that one for a long time. Ford was on the cover, Clinton was on the cover, and Reagan was on 2 covers. Steve McQueen was on a cover. So there's just a handful of these out there, of these non-athletes, but still famous people that are on covers. And I think it's kind of cool. I think that would be a really cool set list. I need to work on putting that together. Bob Hope on the Sports Illustrated cover. This is from June 3rd, 1963. Not a lot of these graded. There's a 9.0, there's a 6.5, there's this 5.5, and that's about it. So really fun issue. I really like it a lot. I got a friend who's a big Cleveland Indians fan. He's going to dig this one. So I like that one. Bob Hope on the cover of Sports Illustrated from 1963. Man, these are tough. These are tough to get in high grades. All right, 2 left. Yeah. It's not a good box. This is not a great box. I feel like we started off great there with that John Wooden 8.5. And it's been right into the toilet ever since then. Mickey Mantle. This is Mickey Mantle's second cover. Pretty good cover. Not bad. A lot of people don't like this cover. I'm not sure why. Probably because Mickey's kind of just in this small little box there, and the cover's filled with all this, headlines and text and that sort of stuff. This is from October 1st, 1956, just 4 months after he had his iconic debut on the Sports Illustrated cover. This picture, I did some research on this. This photo was actually taken in July of 1956 in a game against the Cleveland Indians at Yankee Stadium. But they used it for an issue that came out in October because it was talking about the World Series. So 5.0, not great. Mickey Mantle's second cover. Still a cool looking cover. Would have been a lot cooler if I could have gotten like an 8 on it or something like that. This packing slip is stuck to the front, trying not to look at this issue. All right, this is it. Last one. Yep. All right, that's a 6.5. Yogi Berra, first cover, July 11th, 1955. I really love this cover. They don't do it much anymore. They did it a few times, but a lot of times in the mid 50s and late 50s, Sports Illustrated did really tight shots of the athlete. I know Y.A. Tittle's first cover from 1954 is an ultra close up where like the whole magazine is just their face. And I think this is cool because he's got his catcher's mask on. So this is Yogi Berra's first cover. This is from July 11th, 1955. Pop reports on this one. There are 2 copies of this at 9.6. If you've seen some of my other videos, you know I own one of those 9.6s. There's a 9.4, there's an 8.5, and there's a bunch out there, others that are graded. I just love this nice, tight, close-up shot of Yogi Berra. Well, the John Wooden was certainly the highlight. The John Wooden Billie Jean King first cover at 8.5 was certainly the highlight of this box. Thank you very much for watching. Drop questions and comments here on YouTube. Do me a favor and subscribe. Follow me on social media, Twitter, Instagram, eBay, Facebook groups, TikTok, everywhere. It is the exact same username, CGC Sports Illustrated. Download my audio podcast wherever you get podcasts. Same thing there, CGC Sports Illustrated. And appreciate you watching. Thank you.